you have a lot of other people that have cultures closer to yours. So, for example, there's a lot more Persians over there, a lot more, let's say, Arabs over there, a lot more people from Asia, a lot more people from Africa, from Europe, from everywhere. I mean, even Canadians, Americans are there too. There's all sorts of people. When you come here, there's very few of very few, like, let's say, I should say fewer Asians and Africans and Europeans over here.
Is that something you enjoyed about Abu Dhabi? That the sort of the mix and the kind of variety and so on?
Well, yeah. I mean, it wasn't that it wasn't that big of a deal to me. It's just that you meeting different people, meeting different cultures was really interesting.
Yeah.
And it really, I think that's what really prepared me to come to Canada, because meeting different cultures, meeting different people, it just got me ready. When you move over to another culture yourself, and you're trying to get used to that culture, it just gets you set a little bit.
Yeah.
So because you've dealt with different cultures before, so you have like a bit of background and everything. So when you want to deal with other people, it's just, it makes it a little bit easier.
So you sort of you're kind of used to having to deal with people that aren't your culture. So when you come to Canada, it's like you're already thinking, okay, these are not my people. I've got to figure out different strategies.
Exactly. I mean, I remember, like, for example, when it comes to like little things here and there, when you people differentiate between other people when it comes to cultures and races and stuff. Honestly, like, this is based on my own personal experience. When I first came here and I saw people, a lot of that going on here, more here than over there.
What do you mean, a lot of what?
For example, racism.
Yeah.
As an example,
Yeah.
a lot of that going on here than over there. People being, a lot more people being racist towards, I'm not saying towards me, but other races in general.
Yeah.
And that, it didn't shock me, but I was kind of surprised. I was like, Canada is like, accepting so many immigrants, and I thought, there'd be a lot less of that. But I thought to myself, I was like, wow, come to think of it, Abu Dhabi is like really, it's got a lot of cultures in it. People are pretty much used to it. That's why people, they don't really care about it anymore. It's just normal for them. That's how it was for me. So when I came here, obviously, I'm like a minority, right? So when, going around, I felt like I'm part of just I'm just a human being, so I'm just like anybody else.
Right.
But when somebody comes up to me and says, "Oh, you're like this, you're like that," so I'm like, "Oh, that didn't really occur to me." But
like you're like this or like that. How do you mean?
Like they'd be like, you're from somewhere else. Your skin tone's a little darker. Different things like that.
A little prettier.
But do they say it like in a bad way, or they're just sort of noticing?
I've heard it in different ways. I've heard it in bad ways and good ways.
Well, that's too bad. That sucks.
Yeah.
You're nodding a little bit, Sitara. Have you
Actually,
observed that? Or is it
Exactly the opposite thing happens for me.
Okay.
Well, I've been here for 2 years, so it's not a long time.
Yeah.
So I lived all my life in Iran. So I'm coming from a really southern town, which is like a desert area, which is really warm. So the first thing that really shocked me here was the weather. So I had a weather panic, literally here. But so I had not so much time to pay attention to people's attitudes.
Rosie
toward
from
me.
Mexico is nodding in the corner right now. She knows what you're talking about.
So first thing, I tried to be adapted with the weather here, and then going and socialize with other people. So I was not shocked first with people's attitude. But after that, I realized that people are not that different that I really expected.
Yeah.
Like the thing that happened for you, Dan, didn't happen for me that much. I feel racism all over the world. Like I feel racism even in my culture,
Yes.
even in Iran. I feel it all over the world. It's not something specific to Canada.
Yeah.
It's something that people, I don't know whose job is to educate people about this matter.
It's ours here at New Roots Radio.
Yeah, probably. That's a good thing. But I've been in Europe and I felt so isolated there. I've been there in just 1 week and I felt completely left out. And then when I came back here to Halifax, I felt the friendly environment again. And people here are not that different. They're not so different from people from my country.
Yeah.
I didn't feel a huge shift. It was not like going from 0 to 100.
Sure.
It was going from 0 to 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
that's great. Now, you said that you spent most of your life in Iran.
yeah,
Am I
almost all of my life,
So-
except the recent 2 years.
So speaking English is something fairly new. I mean, I know you spoke English before you came, but like as a thing that you talk every day in English and think
Yeah.
in English, that's fairly new, right?
Yeah, it's new. I guess I have a pretty weird accent.
No, not really. No, there have been weirder accents coming into this studio, and they haven't all been from other countries.
So
Believe me.
Thanks God. That's good.
But is it? I mean, how do you feel like you're you lose touch with your culture a little bit the more you speak English and?
Actually, exactly the opposite. I feel that when you come to a new country, you try to go back to your cultures. You need to dig your cultures. You need to make it more dominant and get people to be familiar with your culture.
Yeah.
So when you're not in majority, you're in minority. So you try to feel unity with your people from your own country. So probably this year was the first time I literally went to Google and searched about Hafsin. And yeah, like a serious research project about the New Year.
And if your mom 5 years ago, if your mom or dad or some family member had tried to tell you the whole history of this, I'll bet you'd have just said, yeah, it's so boring.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
I shouldn't speak for you. I'm sorry. Dan, what about you? Do you feel like you've been here a little bit longer? Do you feel like you're losing touch with your culture?
I honestly have. Yeah, I still do feel like I'm losing touch as days pass by. Ever since we left Iran, I've been I've been speaking English, because I went to an English speaking school, and second language we learned was French. So pretty much no Persian other than at home, and with friends who were Persian friends. So as soon as I stopped writing Persian and speaking it as much, I started losing touch with that, with anything, like let's say reading Persian books, or even when it comes to the names of songs and artists and stuff, I stopped following them automatically. It just, getting used to the new culture, and I'd say the most important thing was the language that I stopped writing and reading. Yeah. That really, really affected me. Like I used to, obviously I was there till grade 5, so I could fluently, speak it, write it, read it. Now I have problems with, I can speak it, but I have problems understanding some words. If you get technical, and I have problems reading, and I have problems writing.
Wow. How do you talk to family back home that don't speak English?
I speak to them fine. I speak to them just fine.
You can.
Yeah, if somebody gets technical, I tell them, what does that word mean, for example. Words that I recognize that I used to know before, but I don't know. Yeah. But reading and writing is a big issue for me.
Wow. Yeah, because
it has become an issue.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you to introduce this song by the Canadian-Iranian artist, Nazanin. Can you say her name? Nazanin. Did you recognize the song title? I think it's Nusha Fadi. I can't say.
Yeah,
it.
About songs. Like, for example, the song that was just playing, that's one of the older songs that I've heard when I was back in Iran. Mm-hmm. So those are songs that I remember from childhood. That's why, and there's some of some of them are really famous and awesome songs, and I just remember, they've been in my memory. That's why I enjoy them. And they mentioned the name of the song of the artist, I remember them, but I won't be able to. If somebody asks me what's the name, I won't remember it right away.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll tell you this one. It's Nazanin, and the song I think is called Nusha Fardin. But if anybody knows differently, please get in touch.
I feel different. No,
unique is the word. Come on, different is not a good word.
Okay, I feel unique for myself, but I feel that other people feel I'm different. So in other people's point of view, in other people's side, I'm a different person. But every individual in the world can be unique, and they are.
No, every individual in the world is different in a way that makes them unique. And just because we're from a different culture, we're from a different part of the world, that doesn't make us different or weird. That makes us more interesting, in my opinion. Like, honestly, when I tell my friends that I'm from Dubai, I was born in Dubai and I'm Iranian, they would like to get to know more about where I've been and the city I was born in, right? And that makes me more interesting, and that makes me more unique rather than different. Different necessarily cannot be a good thing, but unique, in my opinion, is a better thing, and it's being like you stand out when you're unique. But
maybe you mean special. Is that the word you're looking for? Special?
Maybe.
You mean unique in a context, like in a uniform context. You're different and it makes you be unique.
Would you rather be, like, imagine everyone wearing uniforms, okay?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
And then one of them is different, meaning they're wearing a different uniform.
Yeah.
But out of those, one of them is unique because he or she stands out because of certain aspects that they have. That's unique. There you go.
Yeah.
No,
that's
1-0
unique.
for
Not,
me.
not in the discussion of cultures. I mean, in the discussion of personality and.
But you're trying to Satara, you're trying to differentiate between how you feel about yourself and how other people look at you. And sometimes you think maybe people look at you as like different, but like
not in a bad way, just different.
just different, like not interested in you.
Something. No, I don't feel. It really depends on the person.
Yeah.
It really depends on other people. Like I can't say 100% they're repulsive. I can't say 100% I'm attracted. I can't. It's like 50-50. Like.
Okay, here's a question for you, because we actually started out the show talking about how Iranians, when they get together, they're really loud and sort of like they love talking.
Yeah.
And I'm not being racist, because I lived in Mexico, and a lot of my friends are Mexican. My wife is Mexican, and when I'm together with Mexicans, we all talk like this, and we can't stop talking. And everybody blah blah blah. Okay, and it's great, and I love that. But I have felt sometimes that I'm a little bit out of place.
Exactly.
Do you feel like that?
I definitely feel sympathy with you in this. I feel I'm so expressive, and sometimes in some Canadian or probably Nova Scotian culture or context, I feel I'm overrepresentative. I'm saying a lot. I'm loud, and people think I'm a little hyper.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I know what you mean. Sure.
Yeah, you realize that's good.
Dan, would you jump in on that? Have you ever felt like people think you're hyper, or maybe just like...
I felt all.
You think Dan's hyper?
He's a Persian, but he's more hyper.
Wow, before I even started, she makes a comment on that. Yeah, I actually do. People do tell me, but it's really funny, like, because I've never felt like, other than, the times that, in high school people mention a few things to me, I've never ever felt like, like an outsider. People just treat me just like any other person.
Yeah.
And, it just it doesn't feel any different, other than the time when I start going to my Persian roots, start getting loud and start talking and talking and talking. But one thing, I really think it's an advantage that we have, because it really helps when it comes to your social skills. It really helps when it comes to social skills, because when you get to talk to people, you have an insight into different cultures as well. So you get to talk to so many different people in so many different ways. And you're always expressing yourself, you're showing confidence, and I think that's an advantage that we have.
That is so great. There was actually a story last week in the Globe and Mail about immigrant businessmen who or business people, sorry, who come from other countries, and instead of trying to get rid of all that stuff that they brought, like their culture, they actually use their cultural knowledge to actually get ahead. And in this case, they were talking about business and making money. But I think you've just really put your finger on another thing, that what you bring to the country, you actually use to your advantage. And that's so cool. Thanks a lot, Dan. Thank you, everybody, for that really interesting discussion. Let's listen to, I think, Arash with the song Melody. Did I say that right?
No, we're listening to Gugush and Berge Bi Berg. Baghe Bi Bergi.
I am corrected again. I'm just the host here. Here we go. Gugush.
Arash is after this.
از تو که حرف میزنم به یاد تو